And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Hockey Princess. We have Chris, the old guy. Just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. If you are going to a game this season, be it the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL with our friends down in Indy, college game, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up all the pucks in play. Wait for a stoppage in play to go back to your seat, please. Sincerely, Section 330. Let's get into it. Got some stuff in the NHL world, a couple of contract extensions, two major ones. First one is going to be from the New York Rangers. We've got Lafreniere with a 7-year extension, which makes kind of sense to me. I would have thought that the New York Rangers would have locked up Shesterkin before anybody else, especially because he turned down rumored to have turned down such a massive contract. I would figure that you would want that figured out and then you kind of work elsewhere or after that, because it seems like he is a big piece that they intend on having stay long term. So I would imagine from like a money perspective, you lock him down and then you kind of work around what you have left.
Yeah, but you're working on everybody. Shesterkin is that's gonna take a while. He wants break your bank, top player money. The Rangers would like to have other money for everybody else. So, I mean, you've still got to work on everybody else. Lafreniere needed to get done. It's a good contract for both sides if he continues to progress. He is the poster child as of right now of being held back developmentalized by the pandemic. He was just supposed to come in and be a superstar, but you lose a little time here, then you lose some more time because of everything else. It's very difficult at that age.
Right.
So, so I think that's the reason. What they know, Shesterkin's going to be a long contract.
Right. Another one, we have another 7-year extension with Shea Theodore for the Vegas Golden Knights. Sure. Vegas is going to do what Vegas is going to do.
Yeah, that's Shea Theodore is a very good player.
Long.
Huh?
It seems very long. I think that was the only thing that was a little puzzling to me. Like, not to say that people can't play until they're like later 30s, but I know it seems like a very long contract for an individual that isn't coming like out of their entry level or out of like the contract after the entry level.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Shea is 29. You're right. So you figure you've got maybe 5 years of that. Yeah, you don't know what that last 3 is going to look like.
Right.
As far as they're concerned, they're really hoping this cap continues to go up. But
I mean, even if it doesn't, they'll play the same game come playoff time.
Yeah, but I mean that's almost $9 million for Perangelo, $7 million for Hannafin, and now $7 million for Shea Theodore. There's only so much you can do with going with the style of you're never going to pay for goaltending.
Right.
So that's their interesting part. That's a phenomenal team with no completely over the top stud goaltender. Aiden Hill, you consider him average? Do you consider him more than that? Probably not. So, you're not going to have money to go get a goaltender because you've got so much tied up. So, but he's worth it. The $7 million is nice. That last 3 years, I would assume, will be a little rough.
It seems like the last couple, like you said, Vegas has got a lot of money tied up in a lot of longer contracts, and it seems like the last couple of years and a lot of those contracts might be a little rough on Vegas.
Yep. Yeah, but they're big about that. You push that problem down, and you'll see if you've ever got to deal with it.
I
And
remember when that was once our problem.
yeah, and that's what you want to do. You are a cup contender,
Right.
so you do everything that you need to do. If you drop off a cliff and everything goes to shit, oh well. It's all worth it if you get a cup.
Yep.
Or you can try to navigate the same way all the time, and you know that's Dallas doesn't have a cup, but that's a great team every year.
Yeah.
you know so okay, what else we got?
We've got this past week was the Flowers' final game playing in Pittsburgh. Very nice tribute. Sid and I believe it was Malkin or Sid and Letang stayed out after at the end of the game to be there to watch Flower do a couple of circles around the ice, give the Pittsburgh fans an opportunity to say goodbye. Um, I'm not the biggest Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and even I got a little emotional thinking that it was a pretty nice thing. Um, I don't think Fleury has not had a great time leaving really any team that he's been a part of. He left Pittsburgh as a part of the expansion to go to Vegas because everybody was on the belief that Matt Murray was going to be the savior for goaltending for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Fleury could just leave. Fleury left Vegas, found out via Twitter to come to Chicago. He gets flipped at the trade deadline. He hasn't had an amicable, really, leaving. So it was nice that he had that final kind of skate around.
Will that be the final skate around?
That's what.
Yeah, I'm just not positive of that. I've heard that before from the Flower, I believe. So no, it was really nice. um he left on good terms from Pittsburgh. He understood the position they were in. He did say, I'll move on. He gave him basically almost like his blessing to be left for the expansion draft. Probably one of Pittsburgh's bigger mistakes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd like to stay with Pittsburgh for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
And Pittsburgh made a trade this summer, correct? Did they? Some guy from Winnipeg?
McGrady.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to
talk about the chant.
That's what I wanted to talk about. I believe we missed that last week, Hockey Princess. But the Pittsburgh Penguins came up to Winnipeg to play. You want to tell your listeners what the chant was?
Where's Rutger?
He wasn't on the NHL roster, was he?
Rutger McGrady is sent down to the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
Yes, and the fans let him have it. I'm sure he could hear that all the way down in the AHL. Wanted to talk about this a little bit. This is one of the things I'm a little stoked up to be talking about. As your listeners have probably already heard, I have a slight problem with the way the Nashville Predators and their fans do their stupid chants. They have a nice Goldie chant that they do. But unfortunately, they're so dumb that when they're losing 5-0 and the goalie finally gives up a goal, they do the same stupid chant. That's what I call hockey ignorant. Now, go up to Winnipeg. That's a fan base that knows exactly what's going on. Knew he wasn't going to show up there. I'm sure there was about 7 other chants that they were ready for him all game had he shown up. Now, that's what you call hockey intelligent. Know the difference. Okay? Don't be just a passive fan who's just going to do it because everybody else is doing it. Engage in the game. Winnipeg fans do it unbelievably. With that, I'm going to segue to another thing.
Okay.
Because I'm just in the mood. I wanted to get your opinion at the Hawks game about the basketball chant that we heard.
We heard a basketball chant.
I believe we did, unless it was the one game you weren't there.
I believe it was the one game I was not there.
But there was a basketball chant.
What basketball chant?
Defense, clap, clap, clap.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, I thought that was football. That shows you how much I don't know.
That's a basketball chant that happens when the other team has the ball going down. Now, this must have come from younger kids at the United Center.
Yes.
I give them a thumbs up.
I'm about it.
Because it was the penalty kill. We were looking to play defense. So Crusty old guy originally was like, what the? And then I'm all for it. Whatever the next generation at the United Center decides to do, as long as they do it loud, I will attempt to get behind, unless it's that stupid East Coast clap, clappity clap. I'm struggling to get behind that one. But so you were all good with the basketball, but yes, that is a basketball chant.
I'm all for it. I mean, that shows you how little I know about other sports, but I was all for it. I think regardless, if it makes sense in the moment and it's not the Detroit sucks chant when we're playing another West Coast team, sure, I'm down for it. If it makes sense, I'm okay with it.
It made complete sense. Again, showing hockey smarts. That's all I'm looking for. So I'm hoping someday Nashville will get to that. And then I wanted to bring up one more fan thing, because we're making this a fan-friendly adventure this evening. Crusty old guy's pretty pumped up. You know, we're coming off a victory. I'm in a great mood. I don't know. We went to Rockford opening day.
I love Rockford.
Did you notice that something was missing after Rockford scored?
No, they did do tick, tick, boom.
They didn't do that one either, but they used to play Moni Moni.
No. Yeah. I will say we have missed Moni Moni a couple of times. They only do Moni Moni first if they're in the playoffs or if they're grossly outscoring.
Is that true?
They don't do it every time.
We didn't hear it once. So I am wondering if that has been told to no more.
I'm so sad because that was delightful.
So I'd like you, in all of your crazy hockey princess ways, see if you can't find somebody in Rockford and kind of figure out if that is the case. I also wanted to talk about that a little bit. Now we've talked about it.
Got anything else in the NHL world?
Hold on.
Your note, guys. He took notes.
I've got a barking dog.
Pause for the virtue. Not this
Yes.
virtue, but
Rue?
the other virtue.
Sorry, I've got a Rutu that might be seeing a critter, so might have to give me a second. Rue, you okay?
Said there is a rabbit.
No, it would have to be like a skunk or something.
To show you this rabbit.
Okay, Rue, come here.
YouTube.
Okay. Did I have anything else NHL wise?
NHL world.
We've got the 2 injuries. You want to just briefly go over those?
Sure, you can.
McDavid out 2 to 3 weeks, which is huge. With an ankle. Just weirdly went into the boards and everything. So
it happens.
And anybody watching the game, the Hawks game, Ross Colton out 6 to 8 weeks, which is just a damn shame.
Ross now half of their roster now on injured reserve, basically.
Right. And Ross Colton was getting time up with McDavid and
McKinnon.
McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. So he was, I believe, he was the leading goal scorer in the league. He was, or at least number 2. He was having a phenomenal beginning of the season. So that that's a shame to see. He's more of a bit player, but was really starting to turn it on. So that is all I have in the NHL world.
I have one because I saw it on Twitter, and our Caps insider is very happy about it. We're still sort of ish at the point where bad teams are winning and good teams are losing. However, the Washington Capitals are 6-1 right now, ever since Pandas came back to Washington D.C. And I just had
Pandas
to the zoo.
Wow.
They had to leave, and now they're back.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into some prospect stuff, friends. Let me find my notes first. We got a lot. A lot of people were scoring a lot of things this weekend. First off, for Minnesota, we've got a goal and 2 assists for Sam Renzel. Nothing from Oliver Moore, but that's fine. I know there's been some rumors and rumblings of, is he struggling? He's fine. He had a slow start last year. He'll turn it on. I'm not really worried. He'll be fine. Nothing from Sasha Boisvert this weekend. However, he has been consistently getting second line ice time and second line pairings for University of North Dakota the first couple of weeks. With 1 goal from Ryan Green at Boston University. Don Mustard with his first college points this weekend. We have a goal and an assist from the Mustard. 1 other assist for Tage Harding, also at Providence College with Mustard. We've got Dominic James with a ton of points this weekend. 4 goals and 1 assist between the 2 games on Friday and Saturday. Yes.
So Mustard's got a lot of catching up to do to get to Dominic James. oh God.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. I don't rate this stuff.
True. We have Adam Guyon in net for both of the University of Minnesota Duluth wins this past weekend. Misiak, we've got with 1 assist, and Ty Henry with 1 assist this weekend for the Erie Otters. An interesting thing for Erie Otters, yes, I do predict that Misiak will get a bit of points, but for this year in particular, yes, are we holding? Oh, keep going. This year in particular, the Erie Otters have a player by the name of Matthew Schaefer. He is projected to be top 10 as of right now for next year's draft. He is going to get a lot of the ice time. He is going to be one that is going to be scoring a lot of the points for the Erie Otters. It is not completely, but it's going to be a little bit of a Matthew Schaefer highlight reel for the Erie Otters. However, I do still expect Misiak to be productive this year, and same with Ty Henry.
That was excellent work.
We have Alex Ferrand with 1 assist and 1 goal for the Sudbury Wolves. Lardass with a goal, and we haven't mentioned him so far, but for the 2 games that Roman Kanserov has started in the KHL this year, we already have 1 goal and 1 assist in just 2 games that he's gotten ice time for.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of fun stuff. Guys, I finally did it. Slow sports subscription to watch Rockford. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Actually, I have to get something for this amazing conversation.
Hey, she left. Where do you think she went? She's getting something. I hope it's something cool.
Yeah. Do you know what the best part about this past weekend was for Rockford? It's the third line. The third line is the best line. Most importantly.
Oh, yeah.
Scoring the only goal on Sunday and being for Saturday was this kid right here. Sorry, I had to whip out the jersey. Why not? Getting into Saturday's game, Rockford beats Manitoba 5-3. Weeks was in net, a bit of a slow start. Manitoba gets 2 goals in the first quite early. One of them was just an awkward turnover by Artie. This was also Artie's first game, but it was fine. He's going to make mistakes. They're all going to make mistakes. It was still really good to see Artie back on the ice. I cannot explain enough and say enough how good this third line is for Rockford. I don't even want to call them the third line. They're just listed as the third line, but they're getting significantly more ice time than a typical third line in the AHL. They look like the most cohesive line on the roster. It's probably because they've been playing on and off during like development camp and like they have played together, but they are the most cohesive group when they're on the ice. It's incredible. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and they play. They all play the same style, and they're on the same page. They attack.
Yeah,
They attack.
yeah.
So
It was just it's so awesome. Defensively, we've got Artie paired with Fitzgerald for a decent amount of the game, Core with Austin Strand for a decent amount. There was a couple of power plays where Core and Artie were paired together, which was fine. I think there's going to be a bit of time before Anders Sorensen kind of has an idea of where Artie fits in terms of defensive pairing. So it's going to be a little bit all over the place. Makes perfect sense. EDM definitely looks like the strongest defenseman that's down there right now. And I love that for him. He's developing so nicely. Had a really good game on Saturday. Was strong-ish in the third. Kind of just took a snoozer in the first bit. Similar to the Blackhawks sometimes. Sunday's game, like I said, it was this kid. It's all this kid. I don't even want to know how many times I watched the goal on the highlight reel that Rockford posted of his goal because it was amazing. It was amazing. Third line still absolutely ridiculous. I love it. I love it. Weeks in net again. Core and Levshinov were paired for a little bit. But it's kind of a defensive scramble right now down in Rockford. Everybody's playing with everybody. Like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit before Sorensen really has the defensive pairings worked out, especially with the newer kids. He knows what EDM can do. He knows what Strand can do. I mean, Fitzgerald's new this year, but he still knows what type of player he is. He knows what type of player Isaac is. So it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of defensive pairings, I would predict, for the first third of the season.
okay.
On Rockford.
All right. I did not watch any of Rockford. I'm going off of what you're going to be telling me.
That's fair. Because the Rockford games are just so accessible and so easy to watch. So easy to watch. Which brings us to there's a way to watch Blackhawk hockey now. We can stop making the bit. Kind of. They still don't have a deal with Comcast, but they do have a deal with Fubo TV. I don't understand it really, and I'm not in the tax bracket to be able to afford it. But good for them for having a deal so some other people can watch.
Yeah, there's more on that too. We can go over with really quickly. Yeah, Fubo's a little pricey. Not completely, but you get a ton of stuff.
Right.
I will not be doing it. I will be doing it the same little sneaky way that I've been doing it for right now. Because that's what the Blackhawks did to me. So, I believe Laz put out something as far as the app. They're now looking for before Thanksgiving. It looks like $20 a month for each team, or it's like $49. I didn't really see the price for all three teams, which doesn't make any sense because really only two of them are going to be playing at the same time. But so that's what I've been told. Again, when that, holy cow, When that happens, I'll think about hopping on board with that. I am sure I will. It just makes the accessibility for watching a game after it's happened just so much easier. And a $20 price point for me is not bad as long as I can watch it whenever I want to.
Yeah.
So I've heard that also. The Comcast thing, again, I don't see it being resolved.
No.
So, Blackhawks?
Blackhawks.
Blackhawk hockey?
Let's get into some Blackhawk hockey. First game, Nashville. You were there.
I was there.
You were there.
My woman went with me.
Excellent. What were your thoughts on that? We cannot hold a lead.
That's a really good team they're playing against. So we got plenty. We got notes. We can do this either one of two ways. We can talk game by game. We did leave off last episode talking about Luke Richardson. I can segue right now about that if you would like.
Go for it. The floor is yours, Chris.
Oh, I love it when the floor is mine. Okay. We left off about Luke Richardson. Is he on the hot seat? What does he need to do? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm kind of talking to my cool microphone here right now. Oh, yeah. The two thoughts that I had at the end of our episode was, number one, I did not understand this infatuation with the Dick, that he has to be the third line center. And then the other thing is he needs to start matching up against teams.
It's almost like that's his job.
Right. And the last 3 games, he did his job to a T. I do understand why he has a thing for the Dick in the third line. He did a phenomenal job. 2 of these games were on the road of matching that line up against the other team's top line. Dickinson went up against O'Reilly the whole game. They didn't score. So, and then he had the assignment of the young kids in Dallas, and then he had McKinnon the next night. A perfectly well-coached job by Luke all 3 games. So if we're looking at he's on the hot seat or what is he doing, I had questions and I demanded kind of a couple things. I really thought in the 3 games he delivered. I do understand why he likes to keep that line together. Dickinson is a very good shutdown center. There will be talk if this team was just not such a cellar dweller, there would be talk about Dickinson for the Selke. He's playing that well in a defensive role, and his other 2 forwards get it. So I wanted to start out with that, and then as far as my thoughts on the game, we had the beginning of the game.
I got 2 words for that game.
What?
Lucas Reichel.
I can start there if you'd like. Lucas looked good. That's the other coaching thing for Luke. Luke, I know the next game you went and moved him. Leave that kid down on the 4th line most of the year. Let's get his confidence going. He's skating all over the place. He's engaging physically. What I noticed about it, it was almost a little bit like Alex DeBrincat when Alex DeBrincat started. And I had apprehensions of the player he could be because basically he would find a soft spot and stay there. And Alex DeBrincat is not a very good player unless he is skating full speed all over the place. The scoring opportunities will always come, but you need to skate. And all of a sudden, Lucas Reichel's skating. He's not thinking. And the other thing is he's engaging in every battle. He's thinking about the battle as he goes in, it seems like. So yes, Lucas was a bright spot in the Nashville game. A terrible play by Kaiser to start us off. Kaiser got caught with his guy probably 2 strides behind him, which just can't happen. He's been in the league long enough to not let that happen. Power play 1 still has some problems. We're gonna
Why does it have Alex Lassick and not Seth Jones? That's my real question. Not that it's I love Alex Lassick. But why is he on the number 1 power play? More importantly, what beef does Luke have against Seth? For you?
Number 1, a phenomenal article written on that exact topic by Ben Pope a couple days ago.
I know.
And if you want to break out your whiteboard, we can explain what Luke has against it. In Luke Understands It, you can't find the whiteboard, can you?
I didn't know I needed the whiteboard. It's somewhere.
Okay. Tell you what, you keep on thinking where the whiteboard's at. If we can, at the end of the show, we'll go over it.
Okay.
But basically, there is a problem with Seth being a right-hander and the Beacon of Hope setting up on his left, to where the Beacon of Hope doesn't have the quick out back to Seth Jones because he's a right-handed shot. Okay. So that defenseman doesn't need to come up all the way, and he's already cut down that passing angle, thus taking away an option for Bedard. And so if your people start to see like Seth hesitating to pass to him, that's why. The article was really good. Again, if you can find the whiteboard, we can go over it more. But there is a reason why. There's a reason why they're trying to see if Vlasic can handle it on power play 1. And it basically is because where they want the Beacon of Hope to set up is on Seth's left, and it's a bad passing angle to get back to the right-handed defenseman. So all of it does make some sense for your listeners out there. It's just the way it is.
Hold on.
She's getting the whiteboard. And since we're discussing the pickle with an unbelievable pass over to the Beacon of Hope. And the only other big thing I have from that game is there was as always, a lot of Seth Jones hate on the way he played the 2-on-1. Now let's go over the board. Give me Seth Jones as an. We'll make him a black circle in the middle of the ice. Okay. Move him up further. He's in the offensive zone. So he's inside the blue line. He's in the offensive zone for the power play. Okay. To Seth's. Okay. Now see what we're talking about right there. If Seth goes to move there, turn it around the other way. I think it will work better. Yeah. Okay. So they're going in that way. If Seth is like there, you can see he can pass it over to the Beacon, but since Seth is a right-handed shot, the pass now needs to come all the way to the right of that dot. Give me an X in the middle of that.
Like over there?
Give me an X in between the two of them. That is where your top defender will be on this power play. So if Seth is a left-handed shot, the Beacon of Hope can throw a pass closer to the blue line, and Seth is able to receive it. If your fans haven't noticed, there's been a lot of times where all of a sudden it's like the pass over to Seth, he's unable to play it. He's got to attempt, if it goes to his left, he's got to try to corral that with a backhand, which is unbelievably difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of this, you're shutting down the Beacon of Hope's pass back to Seth. That way, there's only one option where if you have the other defender go towards the beacon and cut off the bumper pass, they have now eliminated any moves that the Hawks are making. So that's the gist of Ben Pope's article. It's a good read for anybody who can read the Sun Times. You don't have to make a donation, but they make you watch like a 30-second like commercial if you go online. I will be paying for it from now on because Ben also did a pretty good article on TJ Brody and the struggles that are. So Ben's going to get money from me monthly, or the Sun Times will, only because of Ben. The other thing from the Nashville game was the shorthanded goal scored by Nashville, which everybody came out and complained about Seth Jones.
Which is silly.
On that one, yes, it was a little silly. I got into a tiny Twitter exchange about it with another fan.
Shocker.
Guys,
Crusty loves to get into Twitter exchanges.
Which was really nice. It was fine. It was only a couple, but Seth Jones took away the cross ice pass, left the shooter for Mrazek. The guy made an incredible shot and scored. That's what Seth Jones is supposed to do there.
Right.
What I don't understand is if we're on the power play,
do we need
No. So we have 5 people on the ice. Nashville has 4. How the fan base bitches about the only guy that got back and says he's the problem.
Yeah.
Come on, Blackhawk fans. You're smarter than that. I expect better. You can't sit there and complain about the only guy who got back defensively and say it's his fault. No. So, that was it. And that kind of like broke the back. And at that point in time at the game, you just knew they were going to get the third one. Nashville is a really good team. But they played well together. They played fast. So, it wasn't a bad game. I would have liked to gotten a point. Yes.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was the beginning of them to start playing the right way. You got any thoughts on the Nashville game?
A loss is a loss. Really like Lucas's game. Really, I cannot wait for the day when we have a lead and we're able to keep it.
It happened.
I know. But this game in particular, you had the lead. I understand that they're the better team. I understand that we're not the greatest team. It doesn't matter. You had the lead. You caught them while sleeping. You had the lead. And you allowed the momentum to shift.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you had it. And you let it go. I don't care how good Nashville is, because I really don't find Nashville good. You had it. You had the ability to win.
But again, this is what we've been trying to tell your fan base about this team.
It's not good.
No, but they played 3 really good teams and looked good in all 3 games. They've been embarrassed at the end of the day once this year.
Vancouver?
That was the Winnipeg game. Or no, it was the Vancouver game. Yes. That was a shit show.
But I was like, Winnipeg, you're playing Connor Hellebuck. And I mean, with the way that Winnipeg's playing right now, you can't classify that as embarrassment because they're beating everybody.
No. So the Vancouver game was the only game where it was embarrassing, like I would say 20 to 30 games were last year. This team will be talented enough to play with people. Probably not talented enough still to win a lot of games, but talented enough to play with people. So again, they let one slip away, and then it was straight on to Dallas. So, And again, since I am Seth Jones' defender,
You are Seth Jones' defender.
and there was probably more bitching about Seth Jones again, then you need to bitch at Luke Richardson, because this is a 32-year-old defenseman that plays up and down all over the ice, that played 28 minutes on a Friday night and came back and played over 24 minutes Saturday. Okay, he's not your problem. And if you really consider it a problem again, then you want Luke out of a job, because Luke's playing him half the game. Okay, so I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm done with that. Um, Again, 44 with a really lazy play where somebody got behind him, and then looked really good. We could spend a whole show on Kaiser. I enjoy watching him play because of his compete level. It's just the losing of battles at times is too much.
Yeah.
And I understand all of that. Again, letting some player get behind you by 2 strides at the beginning of a game, unacceptable. Um, Lucas got promoted to go up to the top line.
I don't like that. Not that I don't want him to get promoted, because I think out of the duo, I'm more of a Lucas defender. I don't like what that line then looks as. We've got Lucas Reichel, Connor Bedard, and Teuvo Teravainen. And out of the 3, I would say Teuvo is probably the one that can hold his own the most. But that is you are missing so much physicality, and not even like trying to be a physical player, but just being able to hold your ground if you have possession or just on the ice. It's lacking a lot by having that being your top pair.
Yes, and anybody who's going to be playing with the Beacon of Hope has a little extra responsibility defensively, because the Beacon is going to take his chances, and you want him to. I wasn't a fan of it either. They looked okay. At the end of the day, as we've talked about, I say leave Lucas on the 4th line. Hey, you can piecemeal him other things, like Luke has done. He's moved him onto the top power play unit. You can still have him, him and Hall come out when you're done killing penalties. You give him the first shift after a penalty. All 3 of them are not penalty killers, so they get you that shift. So you give Lucas a little extra ice time other ways and leave him on the 4th line.
I'm totally down for that. And we talked about this a little bit last year, but kind of just as a reminder, yes, the biggest difference between the different lines is typically, top 6 are going to get significantly more ice time, but they're on different lines because they're different styles of players. It's not he gets, downgraded to the 4th line because he sucks. One, he may just straight up have better he has better chemistry within Craig Smith than he does with Connor Bedard at the moment. And you want to maintain that. But it's also a just very different style of play. And if that's what he's fitting into right now, it shouldn't be seen as a complete demotion or a failure if he's playing in the 4th line.
No, he's a young kid still. Again, we're concerned about his development.
Right.
That's the name of the game. We're concerned about 5 players' developments on this team. That's about it. This way, you have 2 worker bees with him there, that when Lucas makes a mistake, it's not showcased in the back of the net. You have 2 other very responsible people, and you have 1 offensively gifted player who then gets to kind of go do his thing. And he's allowed to play fast because he knows he's got 2 other people that understand the game and can play responsibly. And they went back to that after in the next game. The only other note I had from the pace to that game was off the charts.
Hell yes.
It was nonstop. Luke, I'm a little worried that you're going to break Peter Mrazek because he did not want to give Bloom the net. Mrazek
Well,
played back to backs.
Bloom didn't have the net.
Yes, it would have
Bloom
been
was out this
Comesso.
weekend, and he didn't want to give Comesso the net. And yes, I understand the concern of breaking Peter Mrazek. I also very much appreciate that you did not give this tiny child's NHL debut to facing against Jake friggin' Ottinger. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and because basically that could have been 10-2.
Exactly.
Mrazek, for playing on a back to back, played his ass off. Um, but the pace I've got written down here like a couple times. It was just incredible. They were all playing very very fast, and that's what you have to do in hockey. Again, they made their push. They made it a game. Again, just fell up a little short,
Yeah.
but I liked the game. Not quite as structured as they need to be, but it was a very very fun watch.
Excellent. Excellent. Uh,
And that again is a very good team.
yeah. Colorado,
And the Colorado game. Yeah,
we have a
that
win.
was fun too. Yeah, and I got to hear a lot of whining about, well, Colorado played the night before. And I'm like, well, where was all that whining about us playing Dallas the night? Come on. Yeah, they might have had tired legs. Nathan McKinnon's legs did look very tired when he blew right past Seth Jones and went 5-hole on Mrazek. And while we're on Colorado, I don't know if Mikko Rantanen, his nickname is Moose or not, but I've never seen such a big player fall down after getting hit as much as him. Between him and Draisaitl, these guys are constantly looking for calls. It was pathetic. He would be a tiny bit away from the board. Somebody go and hit him a little bit in the back, and boom, down he went, like he forgot to skate. For the most part, was never called. But I noticed that in the game, and I just wanted to bring that up for Moose. Maybe try not to like sell so many calls. I understand that you guys are worried the only way you were going to score was on a power play, and McKinnon scored going by Seth Jones because it was a 5-on-3. Another great game for Lucas. He got a butt goal, or it was an elbow goal. I
Love
can't.
it. I don't care. It goes in the net. It goes in the net.
Um, and I've got written down here that was a coaching win. Luke got caught once with the beacon of hope in the third period out against McKinnon. That was it. He was able to line match to make sure he kept him away from them because McKinnon would eat him alive. So the dick was up against him for the most part. Occasionally the second line had to, and that wasn't the best, but it helps having flow on that line to kind of help out defensively. Mm-hmm. That line still needs a ton of work.
Speaking of the second line, because I know there's been some, articles that have come out, a lot of people expressing their thoughts of their great concern for the second line, and particularly the second line center spot. First of all, if you're really that concerned about the hole that is the second line, maybe you should be really upset with Kyle Davidson for letting Dylan Strome walk for nothing. Not even a friggin' third-round draft pick, and the man is scoring over a point per game for the Washington Capitals. There's your second-line center. We had him. He was sitting on our roster. He was there. Yeah, but he's gone. So that's a part of the rebuild. We don't have a second-line center right now. And the fact that Frank Nazar is down in Rockford doesn't mean that we're forever not going to have a second-line center. He could be it. Or Oliver could be it. Or Sasha could be it. or whomever. This is what a rebuild is. He's not here right now. This is
Right.
a piece that's going to come probably a bit later than some of the other pieces, mainly because I think, at least in my opinion, pinpointing who's going to be a true centerman on your line or on your roster takes a bit of time. Yes, they could make the call up from the AHL to the NHL, but even then, it's still a little bit of time for Luke or whatever coaching staff to be like, okay, he is comfortable here. This is where his spot will be. It's going to take time. We're not going to have it immediately. He's probably sitting in juniors or in college where we haven't even drafted him yet. Freaking Porter Martoni could be it. We don't know. But we had one, guys, and Kyle sent him away for nothing. So let's not forget that grudge.
Yeah. Yeah. Dylan Strome would definitely look nice in the second line spot.
You telling me Dylan Strome wouldn't have had fun playing with Taylor Hall? That would be great.
As far as the second line center, you can go back to your cup teams. They really didn't have a second line center either. You don't have to have one. Depends on the talent on the wing. You had Patrick Kane playing second line wing. You know, everything went through him anyway. So, if NASCAR can be an offensive threat like we're all hoping he is,
Great.
I do not believe he will be a center. There's no second line center that's 5'9" in this league. It ain't gonna happen. He's not going to be able to do enough defensively.
Do you have one in the future looking at who we have right now that you're maybe hoping could reach the potential?
You've got two of them, maybe. You've got Sasha easily could. Sasha's big. He needs to be big. He needs to be strong. Put a spell on me. Might actually be your second line center. They don't have to be the best offensive player on that line. It depends on who's on the wing with them. And if the other two wingers are able to handle the offensive threat, all I need him to do is go to the front of the net and be very responsible and good defensively. They don't have to be the most offensive second line center. It doesn't need to be. So, yes, I think you can find them depending on what the talent is around them. It's definitely nothing we worry about now. I'm high on Sasha just because I think he can play a physical game. I'm pretty sure put a spell on me, he's going to play a physical game. Will they have enough tools to play in the NHL?
We don't know.
We do not know this. We do not know this.
We can only speculate.
Let's see. Seth with a great third in the Colorado game. He was working his ass off. McKinnon tried to go around him a bunch more times on 5-on-5, and that didn't happen. Again, a great job by Luke getting the line matches that he wanted. I don't know what Bendar was thinking, but he kind of let the lines just be dictated a little bit, which was a little surprising to me. I thought he would find a way to get Nate out there more, especially against the Beacon of Hope or the fourth line. But that didn't happen. So they played great. To everybody who says we can't hold the lead, they held the lead. Okay?
Right. We held the lead.
For all those people saying you can't just sit back and play defense, yes, you can. And they really didn't in the third.
You can when you have the lead. You can't sit back and play defense when you're down by 2.
Correct. I always have to point this out to people about the 2013 and 2015 team. They were the top team defensively in the league. They gave up the fewest amount of goals in the league. They weren't some offensive dynamo. They held leads. They got the goal up and they shut it down. And that's what the Hawks were able to do in Colorado. Granted, they part of it was, they had Georgiev, who's been a sieve. That hasn't helped. it was nice for them to go match up against him. Granted, Colorado played the night before, so maybe didn't have the complete legs, but still, they shut it down, held them. It was a great victory. An extremely fun one to watch. One that got me very pumped, got me in a great mood. So you counted that was three really good games against really good teams.
Yeah.
Now you're going to play two not so good teams in one middle of the road team. Let's see what you do then. And the not so good team now is 1-2 in a row. So
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yes. So that's all I've got on the Colorado game. Again, I thought maybe Maz would get a night off, and he did not.
I don't think they're going to give Mrazek a night off until Bloom comes back.
Oh, well, Bloom's back.
Bloom's back. Okay.
And then I'm hearing that Bosfa, however you say his name. How do you say it?
Brissot, I don't know. He's French.
He's French. The Frenchman.
Yeah.
Might be back at some point in time on the West Coast swing.
Love it.
So either way, I believe they have a Thursday, Saturday, and then is it a Sunday?
Saturday, because I'm dragging you away from the game.
You are. Yes, Saturday is like a 3:00 game too.
Guys, we're going on the road this weekend for a slight detour. I finally get to go watch Notre Dame hockey, guys, and it's pretty exciting. Landon's not there, but it's still exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to go to the Compton Center and go watch some Notre Dame. I believe they're playing Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
So this will be my first game watching there. I've been inside the Compton Center, but never for an actual game, just to go check it out. So that should be pretty fun. I'm sure Hockey Princess has a lot of crazy things she'll be putting on whatever those things are. Your Instagram, your TikTok, your X, your Y, your Z.
I'm going to make you do so much content. Just wait.
Really?
No.
Well, you got to do the content, right? That's all part of it, as we found out with your great interview of Eva.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that was a very good show. You're really coming around as a journalist, podcaster. Pretty impressive.
No, it was super fun. Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We get San Jose. I'd like this team to continue on. Let's hope they don't take a step back.
That's fair. All right. And just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. Comment on our shows. Leave us a review. Tell us what you like, what you don't like.
Tell me how terrible I am.
Roast.
Yell at me. Scream at me. But remember, I have a red microphone.
So he's...
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you have a red microphone? I think not.
If you're going to a game this season, make sure to wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. Wait for the stoppage of play to go back to your seats. Please, please, please. Yes.
Oh, and this week, it is okay to say Detroit sucks. If you could keep it to a minimum after the Detroit game, I'd appreciate it. But Wednesday, by all means. Yeah. I'll have some choice words for that 88 kid, too.
He got shipped off. Have more choice words for Kyle. But anyway, that is all, and we will talk at you guys next week.